Going Freaks here. He is a certified S-tier crash out, which means anytime he sees a slight chance of violence, that nigga jumping that shit like, we want the smoke. Alright, I posted a community tab to see if you guys were interested in a Hunter x Hunter video, and you guys voted majority yes, even though no matter what happened, I was gonna make the video anyway. I'm not a Naruto channel, I want to aim for a variety of channels, so I'm gonna post a variety of content, obviously. And you know what, if you like the videos, then why not like, comment, and subscribe? Only 96% of you who watch this video aren't subscribed. And we need to fix that. We need to get more people subscribed to the channel. Join the Printer Army. I don't know actually what I'm going to name y'all. I'm just saying Printer Army. If you've got any ideas, leave a comment down below. But with that out of the way, I don't like doing long intros. So let's get right into the Hunter x Hunter movies, starting with... The movie starts out with Killua having a nightmare where he smokes these random guys he was assigned to assassinate until Illumi shows up and tells him how he was built to kill and that he would end up killing Gon in the end. Even to prove that, he kills these random kids who were just playing ball out in the street. However, Killua wakes up from this nightmare in front of Gon, and they immediately start yelling at each other and almost get kicked out of the train for being too loud.
Bring at you! Gentlemen! Please sit back down! I won't ask you again! Sure, okay. Sorry.
They then link up with Leorio, who explains that Kurapika got his eyes jugged by one of his closest companions in the Kurta clan. You see, this kid's name is Pyro, and he was Kurapika's best friend when he was part of the Kurta clan. The kid had a disease that made him blind, which is why Kurapika was gone at the time of the eradication of the Kurta clan, because he was out trying to find a cure for Pyro's sickness.
Looking after a cripple. Huh?
Get up. Get up!
But now they need to find Kurapika's eyes, which were stolen by this guy named the Puppet Master? The Master Puppeteer? I think he has a name, I just forgot it. So Gon and Killua go to look for where his hideout may be, and during this journey Gon runs into this boy named Retz, who Gon immediately befriends. But Killua on the other hand is not too fast to trust. And after arguing with and pushing Retz, they find out that the he is actually a she.
You okay? Are you hurt? That's enough, Killua! Hold on. Are you... Are you a girl? Huh? A girl?
That night they go to sleep only to be awoken by Uvogin. Now for those who don't know, Uvogin was smoked by Kurapika. Remember the fight where Kurapika pulled up with a whole ass shovel before beating his ass and murdering him and then burying him with said shovel? Yeah, that Uvogin. Yeah, he's kinda dead. So how exactly is he here? But you know what? There's no time for questions. We have Going Freaks here. He is a certified S-tier crash out, which means anytime he sees a slight chance of violence, that nigga jumping that shit like, we want the smoke. But of course, Uvogin outpowers them and is ready to kill them until Nobunaga pulls up with his elite buzzer beater, and explains that Uvogin is a puppet. The real one is still very much slumped. Nobunaga defeats the puppet, and that's when we cut back to the hospital where Hisoka is being his usual freaky self.
Who's there?
Hey, it's you!
That aroma. Antiseptics mingled with blood.
FBI? Him. Come on in! There he is! Yeah!
It explains to Kurapika and Leorio that the Puppet Master has the ability to use anyone's nen as long as he has their eyes. And that he is the fourth member of the Phantom Troop that Hisoka took the spot of, if you don't remember that part. Cut back to Gon and Killua on the trail of the Puppet Master until Illumi shows up and starts to kick the dog shit out of Gon as Killua watches on until eventually Gon gets his eyes snatched by Illumi. Because this Illumi was also a puppet, not the real one. I don't think he would have snatched his eyes. I think he would have snatched Gon's life. But anyways, Killua feeling inadequate has one of the darkest scenes in anime. Killua feeling as if he failed Gon stands on train tracks and simply waits until they hit him. Like, this moment actually just kind of makes you uncomfortable. That is until Gon, the ray of sunshine that he is, stops Killua from getting hit, explaining how getting his eyes stolen was all a part of his plan to track down the Puppet Master using the Nen in his eyes. You see, this entire time Retz was a sleeper agent for the Puppet Master, and she's the reason Gon got his eyes taken away. But see, Gon already figured that out. He's not that dumb. He's not as slow as we think. So they pull up on the Puppet Master and start throwing hands. Gon and Killua get Gon's eyes back, while Kurapika and Leorio get Kurapika's eyes back. Hisoka also shows up just so he can box the puppet versions of the Phantom Troop. He's just kinda here for the fun of it.
Ooh, that knife of yours is dangerous.
After which they restrain the Puppet Master until Retz turns on him, stabbing him in the back, and setting the building ablaze. His Nen gets stronger as a result of his death, but the Phantom Troop pull up and put an end to that. They also tell Kurapika before they leave that they'll run their ones at a later date, allowing our crew to live another day. And with that, that brings the end to the first Hunter x Hunter movie. This movie starts off with Gon, Killua, Bisky, Leorio, and Kurapika all showing up to Heaven's Arena for the Great Battle Olympia. Hisoka is also there chilling in his own suite too. Leorio is on his way to the arena until he gets jumped by 4 hooded figures who end up interrupting the whole event, even imprisoning the chairman Netero, and holding everybody hostage except for Gon and Killua, who get blasted by the leader out of the building. But due to Killua's quick thinking, they're able to get back into the arena with the goal of getting back to the roof to save Netero. Meanwhile, Kurapika was out in the middle of the hallway throughout this entire pandemonium, so he journeys to the security room to turn off the security measures, locking everybody inside, and really get down to the bottom of this. They send a group of men to deal with Gon and Killua, but they handle them with little to no difficulty, so they send one of their strongest soldiers to deal with Gon and Killua. Gon and Killua begin to jump the fuck out of him. And from an outside perspective, it looked like he was getting his ass wiped. But he ends up grabbing Gon's foot, tossing him through 3 walls, gaining the upper hand. They end up fighting in this elevator and Gon gets washed. Cut to Kurapika in the security room fighting this other member of the Shadow, who makes a clone of him to fight. Leorio ends up making it to the arena and runs into Hisoka, who agrees to team up with them.
Hello there.
It's you! Knock it off! Let me go, damn it!
You sure about that?
Back to the elevator, Gon and Killua outsmart bro in the elevator and hits him with the gut punch, taking him out.
Damn, you hit that nigga so hard to replay 3 different times!
The guy fails his condition, causing him to explode. Kurapika ends up getting folded until Leorio pulls up to help him, and they end up overcoming him. Hisoka just kind of watches this whole thing go down. Before he dies, he ends up injecting this blood into Kurapika that restricts him from using Nen unless he makes a contract with OWN. I guess this is a good time to explain the overarching story going on in this movie. These 4 guys are part of this thing called the Shadow, and they hate hunters pretty much. So they went to this guy named Jed, who gives them the power named OWN that makes them stronger, but only if they make contracts with their life. Which is why both ended up, dying because they failed their contracts. With Kurapika out of commission, Gon and Killua head up to the roof to defeat Jed. Again, Hisoka's just chilling, I guess, just not doing jack shit. On the roof, Gon and Killua get washed by Jed, and Gon believes that the only logical way to beat Jed is to make a contract with OWN. While Gon is boxing with Jed, Killua works to free Netero, which he does, allowing him to fight Jed now. Killua then releases Gon from OWN with the power of friendship. Through this, Gon gets stronger, allowing him to finish off Jed, and that brings an end to the Hunter x Hunter movies. I'm not gonna lie, these movies were garbage. Straight ass, 2-pack of ass. The thing about Hunter x Hunter is that it's not named Naruto, where the main character is allowed to kind of do what the hell he wants, because at the end of the day, he's the main character. The show is named after him. What makes Hunter x Hunter so great is that while yes, Gon is technically our main character, he never cheats to get stronger. He never just, skips steps. Everything has a consequence. If he overdoes it, he gets the results of overdoing it. Gon's power level is always kind of sat in the middle of not too strong but never too weak, and it just feels kind of odd throughout these 2 movies. The Phantom Row kinda got this right, but it results in a boring movie where the main characters do a lot of talking rather than fighting, because once again, the guys that they're fighting are the Phantom Troop, and they can't really beat the Phantom Troop, so they just don't fight them to reserve their legitimacy. The first fight is 30 minutes in that movie. The last mission fails because it just sits back and allows Gon to work. Everybody else is just kind of sitting there like, oh well, it's up to Gon now. Even though this show has never really been like that, where everybody is perfectly capable and they just go, you know what, let's just leave it up to Gon. We all should take back seats and leave it up to Gon. Even Netero does that in the last mission. He's in the middle of fighting Jet and Gon just stands up and is like, I hate you, and he goes to hit him with a Judge-Ken, and Netero's just like, oh shit, I'll just take a step back then. He's got this handled. Even though it was his fight with Jet to begin with. They were destined to do this fight. They were supposed to do this. So why is Gon getting involved? It just doesn't make sense. Like in both movies, Leorio and Killua will really take back seats. I mean, in the Phantom Rogue, the beginning is very Killua centric. You know, with the nightmare sequence and, you know, the slip and slide attempt. But after that, it just forgets that Killua even matters. They just kind of sit back and let the Phantom Troop and Hisoka handle the majority of it afterwards. So, you know, the Phantom Rogue is a smooth 6 out of 10. You know, it's not bad, just really uneventful. Again, carried by Killua throughout that entire movie. And the last mission is just bad. I give it like a 3 out of 10, 4 out of 10. It's uninspired and literally a movie that any other anime could have done. And with that, that is the end of my review of the 200 x Hunter movies. I really love Hunter x Hunter, so if you like the video again, like, comment, subscribe. I want to do more Hunter x Hunter videos. Might start talking about the actual show that's actually eventful and actually entertaining. Also, I'll get back to the Naruto movies eventually. Not this time though. You know, there's gonna be another different video this week. Again, I'm not a Naruto channel, so I want to make sure I separate myself that way. But anyways, it's Big Homie Printer, and I'm signing out.
Girl, what do you want from me? Yeah.